Hello everyone. Today I am making a video. Today it's gonna be quite different today. And today I'll be reviewing my Jurassic World mini sets that I have so far. And the dinosaur minis that go along with the set. So let's start off with this Mosasaurus Mayhem set I've got since my 10th grade year, which was the beginning of 2023? I think so. I think it was 2023. It's been a couple years since I got this set. It was my first set. Oh, also, we'll be using the human minifigs for size comparison, though it may not be accurate to the thing in the film or in real life, but it's just a comparison. So let's get started. So the first mini fig of the Mosasaurus Mayhem set I have, like the latest in the set, is the Atrocitaptor Red, which, by comparing him to the Jurassic Park Worker and Ben Pincus mini that I have, it's quite surprisingly big. I believe this almost looks quite accurate to the thing in the film. Though the design looks pretty cool. The paint job looks decent. The only thing it's missing are like the pupils, the part with the eyeball. But other than that, it's pretty. I like all minis regardless of their paintwork. Honestly. So let's move on to the next mini. The biggest one I have in the Mosasaurus Mayhem set is, of course, the Mosasaurus itself. And my goodness, it's so big. And it was the biggest mini I've got after the Giganotosaurus, which will be in another video eventually. So, design-wise, it looks pretty good. Honestly, though not quite accurate to the real thing, but it's still decent. Like the Atrocitaptor, it's missing the pupil, but it's still a pretty good minifig. And this is also my very first. This was my very first Mosasaurus mini that I got with the set. Cause at the time I had basically mostly terrestrial Jurassic World minis dinosaur species. Yeah. Sorry if I stutter a lot, but but now that we got the Mosasaurus Mayhem out of the way, it's time to do what I got next. The Advent calendar, or as this YouTuber that I would usually watch for Jurassic World minis called Dan, surprised that he would call them Advent calendars. It sounds weird. I mean, either it sounds much cooler or it sounds weird. Let me know in the comments. Alright, it's time to review each mini species in this Advent calendar. Right off the bat, I have two different patterns of Pteranodon. Note that for each of these minis, if there's the same species, I'll be going with two at a time if there's more. But I like the 30th anniversary one Pteranodon a lot, honestly. The one from the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary advent calendar, and the Pteranodon, which looks like the one you would see in the Jurassic World Dominion mini line, which that's when I first collected Jurassic World minis, honestly. honestly, out between these two, it's the 30th anniversary Pteranodon that I prefer. Until if I do get a rebirth advent calendar one of these days. Okay, I need to stop. I need to make up my mind. You know what? Yeah. But design-wise, they look like a typical Pteranodon. Until I noticing that there is tiny teeth. Either it's me or that I somehow see tiny teeth. Let me know. But the Pteranodons look pretty cool. Alright, next dinosaur. Next I have is the Tupandactylus, which, oh my goodness, is quite bigger than the Pteranodon by wingspan, I believe. But design-wise, it looks quite similar to the real-life thing, since this pterosaur never appeared in any Jurassic Park film other than video games, like Jurassic World Evolution or Jurassic World Alive. However, design-wise, looks pretty much the same like the real-life animal, though the crest looks pretty cool, especially for a pterosaur like this one, since it eats fruits. Well, used to eat fruits before it went extinct. Well, next dinosaur. Next dinosaur is Stygimoloch, or this individual's name is Stiggy. Though I got this one from the Jurassic World Chaos Theory Advent Calendar. Realistically, though, this is actually a Pachycephalosaurus. Though I have a list of Jurassic World species that I keep writing down, and I have a tendency of writing this as a Stygimoloch instead of Pachycephalosaurus, which I should try to write down the actual name of the dinosaur next time if I do get a new Jurassic World mini one of these days. Design-wise, it looks like it's a baby Pachycephalosaurus. Of course, the little crown behind its dome-thick head. Decent. And it's quite big, of course. But we're just getting bigger slowly at a time. Slowly. Next dinosaurs I have are the big one on the left side in brown, and Charlie on the right side in a greenish color. Though I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. If they are a different character of raptor, let me know in the comments. But design-wise, looks pretty cool. Though they could use some paint on the eye part to make it look more realistic. Seems a bit smaller than though, but that's okay. Pretty cool still. I like all minis. Well, certain minis. Minis from these certain kind of minis. Well, the next 5 dinosaurs are just going to be Atrocitaptor. So these are the first 2. The one on the left is Ghost. Though Ghost's paint design is a bit different from the one that we see in the Dominion line. And the one on the right has a patterns similar to gray, which I'm naming it gray, though it don't look gray to me. Even I looked it up on Jurassic Park Wiki. Gray happens to be this color, which is strange. I don't get it. But as for Ghost, she has at least an eye color, and gray could use it, but overall, still good minis. Though Gray has a similar pattern to that strangely is similar to that of either Red or Tiger. Though that's the only Atrociraptor mini that I do not have. But both of them are great, though. Alright, the next two, which are number 3 and 4, the one on the left is Panthera, and the one on the right is named Princess. No, I'm not joking. If you look up Princess on Jurassic Park Wiki, this is the Atrociraptor's name, Princess. One of Biosyn's Atrociraptors. Though, like before, it's pretty cool color design, well, body design, and the skin colors look pretty cool. Decent. Though Princess almost got a proper eyeball placement, though I have to assume that it's quite impossible to place the eye very well on a mini like this when making it, especially from Mattel. Oh, by the way, the Atrociraptors that I showed you before I showed these two are from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar. Panthera I got from a 30th anniversary Jurassic Park Advent Calendar, which is strange, but it's still something better than nothing. And Princess I got from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar. Quite big for an Atrociraptor mini there compared to these human minifigs. The last Atrociraptor in the set that I have is the one with stripes. Though I named him Stripes because I couldn't find a confirmed official name for this individual, so I'm calling him Stripes. Or unless any of you watching this can comment down if this Atrociraptor has an exact name. Though Stripes looks pretty cool. At least he's got the eyeball part placed somewhat well. Pretty good if you look closely. Though this Atrociraptor, man, it's pretty cool. I can't stop looking at it so much. The next one is a Dimetrodon. Though this is a dinosaur like Pteranodon and Tupandactylus and Mosasaurus, like I should have stated before. But more rather our one of our earliest ancestors. It's quite big. In fact, now that I think about it, it's almost accurate in terms of size. Almost. Design-wise, the sail, I think it kind of has the sailfish kind of look. Kind of how you look at a Dimetrodon full skeleton in a museum, if you guys have ever seen one or not. Though the Minions Dimetrodon, it's pretty cool. At least we got to see something that didn't get to appear on screen. Unlike possibly the next dinosaur, Herrerasaurus. Both Dimetrodon, I should have said that it was in the 30th anniversary advent calendar. And this Herrerasaurus is also in the 30th anniversary advent calendar. Though, design-wise, I don't know what to say. It is just a dinosaur. I respect the build. Well, there are some designs of a dinosaur that I can totally respect in a film, in documentary. But this, I don't know what to say. It's just seems a bit weird, but heh, what do you expect? He's kind of. I think he's goofy looking, honestly. Alright, two of these Gallimimuses are both from the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary advent calendar. And though, once again, like with most other minis, I don't think it's possible to put a pupil on the eye part unless someone in the company is really talented to do it. But design wise and paintwork, it's pretty decent, pretty cool, and they seem quite almost accurate to the size. I'm not so sure though. I'd say they are but on screen they're bigger. Though I could be wrong, but they're pretty cool. Alright, the green Gallimimus, which happens to be my favorite Gallimimus, on the left is from the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary advent calendar, and the Gallimimus on the right is from the Chaos Theory one. Though, different paint job from the first Gallimimus for the 30th anniversary advent calendar. Both are pretty cool. Once again, once again, the eyeball thing, almost quite impossible. Or impossible. Unless you're one of you people, Mattel workers who work at Mattel to make these minis, you do a great job regardless. I have to give it to you guys. These minis are so cool. I like to keep these on the shelf so much, but it's really cool. I can say it. It's cool to the point I tend to collect them. Alright, next dinosaur. Next, I got two Ceratosauruses. One on the left is from the Advent calendar, the 30th anniversary, and this green one is really unique from the Chaos Theory. And notice how we're getting bigger and bigger. Almost, though. But we're getting there. The green one happens to be my most favorite one. And I've even looked online before, and that there is a brown one, but it's from a Dominion Advent calendar or the little boxes that you tend to get from the store, which you can't find the Dominion ones in store anymore now, but you could find them online, which I don't get. Alright, but the green one kind of gives off almost reminds me of this color pattern of the novel Carnos, but I don't think that's the case. Next I got is the one and only Dilophosaurus from the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary advent calendar. The design wise looks pretty cool. The size seems quite accurate. Though, like most of the other minis, it's missing the pupil, but how many times have I been saying something about the pupil thing? I think it's starting to get really, really annoying to the point that I'm starting to drive myself insane. The next dinosaurs I got are the Nasutoceratops. Now, before you say they look the same, you may be right, but to my perspective, if you look closely to the coloring on their skin pattern, one looks lighter and the other looks darker. which I really like, which is one of the things I like about a Jurassic World mini, is that you can find a difference in it to the point that you can keep it. Well, for me, anyways. But the horns there remind me of those of bulls. And they're quite big, and we're getting bigger and bigger. Alright, moving on. The next dinosaur is Baryonyx. Though this one looks kind of like Chaos from Camp Cretaceous, but this Baryonyx is actually from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar I got. Though there is a difference that if you look closer at towards the hip area, you notice that it's not all the way blue towards on the tail completely. It just stops after the leg. That's it. But this design looks pretty cool. And the size, almost accurate, because a Baryonyx is bigger than this, honestly. But still a cool mini, honestly. The next mini here is Kentrosaurus, or as this one is, I believe, oh, my bad. Sorry about that. Hold up. There we go. This is how, apparently this is what a real-life Kentrosaurus is compared to a human, basically. Pierce seems, in the show, happens to be bigger, I believe. Big enough to face off Big Edie the T-Rex from Camp Cretaceous. But this is a Kentrosaurus I've never had. From the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar I got, this is pretty cool skin color. And I love it so much. Alright, next dinosaur. The next dinosaur is the Allosaurus. Though there are so many names going around all over the internet for the specific individual. Well, the one with the one eye, which is basically one eye. I swear they named it after the T-Rex from the one show Dino King. Nothing wrong with that, but this design looks cool, honestly. The coloring, too. Though the way it's standing is a bit awkward, but what do you expect when you get it from a package and that's in there for who knows how long and ended up getting into a position like this? It's still a cool mini regardless. The next one is a Ceratosaurus. I really like the design of the Ceratopsian, especially they added the detail like the holes in the frill, which I really like. And though the Ceratops in the real world and in the Jurassic franchise would be bigger, but this is okay. In fact, this is from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar I got. At least there's pretty cool paint work on it, including on the face too. Alright, that's dinosaur. This dinosaur I got is really interesting. Though it's called Becklespinax in the show, but realistically it's called Altispinax. It's one of the dinosaurs I've got in earlier last year. Though this one's from Chaos Theory, that Advent Calendar that I got as an early Christmas gift. This one's name is Blondie, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. The hump, the head color, everything about it is really cool. And they did pretty good with the skin detail too, honestly. This dinosaur I got is Concavenator, though appears as a statue in Fallen Kingdom, but now and it appeared as a toy for Dominion, I believe, but never appeared physically on screen though, which is a bummer. I would love to see this dinosaur on screen for once. The design looks pretty cool, though what sets me off is that it's got thumbs for some weird reason. If you look closely, there is thumbs. Is that for the design for the dinosaur, or did they add it there on purpose? I don't know, honestly. Let me know in the comments. It feels like they left that there on purpose. For the record, I thought it was a genetic mutation, but nope. But I think so. Maybe it is a genetic mutation. Maybe not. I could be right. I could be wrong. It could be between. Maybe this thing could be part human. Just kidding. Not gonna happen. Or is it? Alright. The next dinosaurs are the Majungasaurus. The Majungasaurus siblings. So they're both from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar. So the first one we got here is Major, which right off the bat, I like this color already. And this one, I gave him a name Minor because he has lack of screen time on screen. Because basically, he's dead. He was killed by Major. Simple to put it that way. But both of the designs are pretty cool. But oh wait. Oh wow. Looks like they got pupils. Someone must have managed to do it. That's awesome, honestly. Why am I so obsessed with eyes? Is it because I had an eye doctor earlier today? I think so. Let me know on this design of the mini. I think it's really cool. As I will say it again. Every mini I'd respect. Next, I got our Stegosauruses. The one on the left here I got is from the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary calendar, and the one on the right is from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar, which both are pretty cool. I'm not sure which one's the best. I like all the colors, honestly. It's what makes them so unique. This one's the most recent Stegosaurus design I got, which I really like the blue to this. It kind of almost reminds me of the Stegosaurus that you would see in Camp Cretaceous. The next dinosaur here I got is a Tyrannosaurus that is Big Edie from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar I got. So far, her pattern looks pretty cool compared to other Tyrannosauruses from other minis in this set. Though we haven't gotten to Rexy yet, but it's still pretty cool. The white underbelly, the stripes, the usual brown color. It's still cool. The next dinosaur here I got are Ankylosaurus, which one I got from the 30th anniversary Advent Calendar, and the other one from Chaos Theory. Though Though I have to admit to some YouTubers, they should do at least do a bit of a different paintwork on these guys, but their design is still cool. And almost, and their skin color almost reminds me of Bumpy, honestly, if you think about it. It's a still pretty cool mini, though. Not, don't get me wrong, though. The next mini I have is Tyrannosaurus Rexy herself. Though her posture is quite a bit different from Big Edie's, though. But this is Rexy in her young years from Jurassic Park, and of course, it's from the 30th anniversary advent calendar that I got. Though, is it me or is Rexy about to eat this poor worker there? I don't know. Maybe she will. Maybe she'll eat him when he's on the toilet. Next I have is a Triceratops, another dinosaur from the Jurassic Park 30th Anniversary Advent Calendar, which reminds me of the Triceratops scene that from the Jurassic Park movie where it was lying down on the ground sick after eating some poisonous plants that it wasn't supposed to eat. Though I'd have to say that this mini could have been a bit bigger, but it's still a cool mini. And plus, the skin color suits well for the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary theme. Still pretty cool. Next, I have is a Mosasaurus mini from the Chaos Theory Advent Calendar. Unlike the Mosasaurus that I got here, this one is a bit smaller. And it has yellow eyes instead of green, which is a bit of a small change, but still cool for once. Though the skin color looks pretty cool. Underbelly is actually gray too, which is also makes it pretty cool. It almost looks like it's the actual Mosasaurus from the Jurassic World movie. It reminds me of that. Though it's still big for a mini like it, though. Finally, but not least, I have this Brachiosaurus mini that I got from the 30th anniversary advent calendar. And it's the largest mini I have in the set for now. Since there is another Jurassic World advent calendar with the Titanosaurus that would take both the Brachiosaurus' place for the largest mini in the set and the biggest mini of an overall of minis, bigger than the supposed large Dreadnoughtus, which is surprisingly bigger than this, would be bigger than this Brachiosaurus mini. Paint job and design looks pretty cool. The paint job itself looks pretty suited well for the Jurassic Park theme when the advent calendar came out. Still cool though, not gonna lie. However, surprisingly big. Well, that does it for today, you guys. So, what was your favorite mini from either this set or this set? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe too. Though, I may stutter and struggle a bit, but I'm still learning how to become somewhat of a YouTuber. Well, not famous like Mr. Beast or trying to be something else like Prince Vegeta, but you know, something like Karami Animates, or kind of like Goji Center, which I plan to do a face off based on my minis one of these days, and more Kakaviji content some along the way. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video.